Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a new ColourPop collection. Well, newish ColourPop collection. You know, they tend to launch so much so quickly that trying to actually be able to keep up with anything is pretty much impossible. But I saw this collection on Trend Mood and a couple of other of the makeup profiles on Instagram, and it really caught my eye. It's been a very long time since ColourPop has really caught my attention. That's something that they have launched has just really spoke to me in any form or fashion, because you know they launch so much. The last collection that I talked about on here was the BT21 collection, and I think the one before that was the Star Wars palette. So yeah, very far and in between, but I saw this one. This is the Clay It Cool collection. From my understanding, from some of the reviews that I have seen, I'll drop a picture up here of that palette just so you guys can see what it looks like. But from what I've seen, this is supposed to be a dupe of the Patrick Ta. I think it's the Multi-Dimension #2, something like that. I don't have any of the actual Patrick Ta palette, so I can't compare. But from what I've been seeing, this is supposed to be like a dupe of the second palette that he launched. There's also a cream shade right here, which is just like what he launched in his palette. From what I could see of reviews of this palette and of the Patrick Ta palette, the second one, the color stories are very similar to each other. The textures look very similar, the cream shadow. So I would say that this probably is supposed to be a dupe of that palette. When I saw this, yeah, I got excited about it. I love really pretty peachy warm tones like this. These shimmers just got my attention. These two mattes right here just really jumped out at me. I'm excited about trying the cream shadow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cream shadow as an eyeshadow base today and see how that works. That's how I've seen some people using it. So we got the palette, and I also got the 4 Ultra Matte lips, the Blotted lips, the little lipsticks here. I'm not going to do swatches in this video. The swatches for the palette as well as lip swatches for the Blotted lips will be on my TikTok, and they will also be on my Instagram Reels. They should already be up by the time this video goes up, so you can watch this video and then head over and watch the swatches if that's what you're wanting to do. The only thing that I didn't get was the highlighter, the face and body shimmering powder. I have never liked any of ColourPop's highlighters in the plastic palette in that format. They're always kind of oily with like a bunch of glitters, and I've just never liked that formula. And that particular one was big, so I knew if I got it, I was not going to use it. So that would have been a waste of money. So I just got the eyeshadow palette and the Blotted lips. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is throw on some blush. I'm going to use this one from Shop Miss A. The shade is Shy. This was from my little haul that I did. That should have gone up yesterday if we're looking at the schedule in order. So that should already be up. But this was kind of a warm peachy tone, kind of a burnt orange, I think. You know what? Actually, that is looking cooler than I thought it was. Hold on, let me grab the other one. I'm actually going to use this one instead, which is Cozy. This is more of a burnt peachy coral. Yeah, that is more of what I'm going for. So I'm going to use my sponge. I'm just going to dip into the blush and start applying it to my cheeks. That's the way that I like to apply cream blushes, is with a sponge. I feel like it applies the best that way. It just goes on like really, really smooth, and the sponge just helps to disperse the product better. And as you can see, this is just going on so smooth. These cream blushes really are beautiful. They are $1, and they just go over powder products so well. For highlight, I'm just going to throw on my Ardell Attitude Adjuster drops. I've been really enjoying these, and then we will move into the palette. Actually, you know what? I almost forgot to do the bronzer. Actually, I did forget to do the bronzer. So normally I like to do bronzer before blush and highlight, but I forgot about it. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I grabbed one of the Dream Vacay Super Shock bronzers. This is 22FF. That is the shade. There are 6 shades of these. From my understanding, this was a launch that they had before and discontinued it, and then they brought them back. This is the only product that I'm using today that I'm not using for the first time. I've actually been using this for about a week now, and I really do enjoy it. One thing I will say is that the shade on looks a little bit lighter than what you're seeing in the little jar here. So you might want to go a little bit lighter with the actual product when you're choosing it. I'm going to have to, I'm starting to get, my little grays are peeking back in again. I'm going to have to get ready to touch that up. But what I've enjoyed doing is taking a brush and then just like dabbing it where I'm wanting it. So like right up in here, my hairline, just, wherever you would normally get some sun. This one is extremely warm tone shade. So if you are not into warm tones, then you want something a little cooler, this is not going to be the one for you because this is an extremely warm tone shade. But yeah, I just like to press it where I want it to go. And then I take my sponge and I just kind of blend over the edges just to make sure everything is well blended. I've really been enjoying this bronzer. It's more on like the cream side, which is not something that I normally go for. But this one blends in really well and is looking really nice. And I really like the shade on my skin. It gives me a nice bronzy glow. I'm going to give my face a quick spritz of my Revolution Makeup Conceal and Define Infinite Mattifying Setting Spray. This is the setting spray I currently pulled for my rotation this week. The only thing about this one that I don't like is that it has a fragrance, like it smells like you're spraying perfume on your face. It mattifies really well. I love that. It does help my makeup to last longer throughout the day, but I could do without the fragrance. All right, so let's jump into the Clay It Cool palette. I'm going to take the shade Need You, or Ned You, like netting bread is kind of how it's spelled, K-N-E-A-D-U. I'm going to take that shade and put it over my lid. It's kind of a peachy pink hue to it. So I'm just going to lay this down as my eyeshadow base. And then see how well these shadows blend over it. Hopefully this will work well. Like I said, I've seen others use this shade the same way. I don't think this is the first palette that ColourPop has put the cream shade in. There were 2 other palettes. I don't remember the names, like a more warm tone and then a more cool toned. And I think they also had cream shadows in them. Alright, so let's see how our shadows blend over this. First thing I'm going to do is take Body Talk. And I'm just going to kind of lay that over the lid. I'm going to put Killing It in the crease. And then we're going to take Aphrodite. And this is going to go on the outer corner just to kind of deepen everything. So that is where we're going to go with the matte. There is a little bit of fallout there. I wish I had the Patrick Ta multi-dimension palette to compare this to. I've wanted to try the palettes. Like I really have wanted to try the Patrick Ta palettes, but yeah, Patrick Ta is kind of pricey, and I'm just so hesitant when it comes to like luxury high-end makeup. That's blending beautifully. Sometimes I see stellar reviews where high-end luxury makeup is concerned, but then other times it's just kind of ho-hum. And I'm so afraid, I'm not necessarily afraid, but nervous that I'm going to spend a lot of money on a high-end luxury palette, and then I'm not going to like it. I'm going to get it and be like, yeah, this formula is not good. This doesn't blend well. And because it's a higher end palette, I spent a lot of money on it, I'm not going to declutter it. I mean, let's just be real. I'm going to declutter things before I declutter that. It's like when I spent 60, 70, 80 bucks on a palette, that is not leaving my collection. Oh, that is beautiful. That shade's a little more cool toned than I was thinking it was going to be. More on the coral pink than like peachy warm. But it is beautiful nonetheless. I'm going to take, by the way, that was Blend Bunny 5. Now I'm going to take Blend Bunny 4. And this is going to go into the crease. Today is Saturday, August 6th. Monday, you guys, August 8th, my kids go back to school. It will be their first day back. My son will be in the 4th grade. I cannot believe it. I'm still in like shock and just wow over how fast they are growing. And my daughter, she is going to be a senior. This is her last year in high school. This year she will be graduating. She's kind of having a bit of a crisis and a panic right now because she's still not quite sure what she wants to do. It seems like her friends and all the other seniors around her have it just all together. They know what college they want to go to, and they know what they want to do when they graduate. She knows she wants to do cosmetology, and she knows she wants to do business. But right now, she's just kind of panicked as far as like, what's the best way to do it? Like, what is the best route? And like we told her, you know, don't worry about what everybody else is doing around you. The only person you are in competition with, if you're in competition with anybody, is yourself. You're not in competition with anybody else. Just do what feels right for you. Follow your heart. Do what it is, that you're wanting to do. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. College is not the only track. We're going into Aphrodite. I think one of the biggest issues, or one of the biggest issues, I guess is the word, and mistakes that I see where like administrators make, with seniors getting ready to go out into the world, is they don't ask them what do they want to do. They ask them, what college do you want to go to? What college do you have in mind? That's like as if college is the only track, like there is nothing else that they could do. There are all kinds of trades and fields that you could get into. College is not the only track. And I hate the fact that so many administrators just push college. Like college is the only thing that you can do. And I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that nowadays having a college degree doesn't really seem to matter. It's not like you're going to get a college degree, go out into the world, and you're guaranteed to find the job that you want to get that's going to pay you all the money you want to make with great benefits. It just doesn't work that way. That is beautiful. What I will say about this palette, just looking, at the shades on my eyelids, it's definitely more cool berry toned than I thought it was going to be. There's still a little bit of warmth in here, but I was expecting it to be a lot peachier than it is. More peachy, more copper. But as you can see, it's more berry than what I was thinking. It's still beautiful, but I was expecting more of a terracotta. I mean, it says clay. This is clay, for Pete's sake. I was expecting more of a kind of a terracotta, one-toned, peachy kind of a color story, but it's cooler than I was thinking. I'm going to take a little bit of Kneaded. I'm going to lay that on my lower lash line, and then we'll jump into some of these shimmers. Just taking a little flat brush here because I just want to lay it very close to the lash line. I don't want it like blended all the way down. I'm not trying to like blow this out or fluff it out or anything. I just want it close to the lash line. Like that. I have my Trixie Mattel Kimchi Chic fan up there, and it looks like I'm wearing like a little crown on top of my head. I definitely want to take Mud Pot, this shade right here, and lay that on the lid. And then I guess we'll take, is that what I want to do? Do I want to go, you know what? We're going to take Biscuit, this shade here, lay it on the lid, and then maybe take Mud Pot in here, and then one of these two shades in the inner corner. So first we're going to take Biscuit, and I'm going to take it on my double-ended brush here. Very creamy. You see that? It's a very deep coppery shade. Oh, that's pretty. See, that's what I was thinking like the whole palette was going to be. But it's like it's more cool tone mattes mixed with more warm tone shimmers. It's just weird to me. I don't know. It's a beautiful color story. It's a beautiful palette, but it's not quite what I was thinking it was going to be. We're just going to lay this on the lid. I'm going at an angle. Like I've said before, I like my shimmers to be at an angle. I don't want them to be like straight up and down. So that way everything just flows and blends together a lot better. I'm going to take a little bit of that on my finger. Just kind of press it on. And I'm going to center the lid there. It's a beautiful like coppery bronze shade. Stunning. I have a little Mud Pot on this flat shader brush, and I'm going to lay that more towards the middle. Kind of blend it into that shade. That is pretty. Oh, that is stunning. It's very, very creamy. I love a beautiful creamy shimmer. I'm going to go back in real quick with the Aphrodite shade and just kind of add a little bit more to this outer corner. Blend it into that shimmer. I do like the way the look is coming out. I'm always on a lookout for a new kind of a warm, peachy palette that can be like my everyday palette. The one from Crown Beauty that I showed in my Declutter. That one is still my all-time favorite peachy, coppery, everyday palette. I'm going to take this very small pencil brush from Eloise and go into Motif. And I'm going to lay that as my inner corner highlight. Oh, that's pretty. It's a very bright, kind of a champagne gold. Very champagne pop kind of a shade. I'm going to throw on a brown liner today. This is Bella Forever. It is a 24-hour perfect brown liner. And then I'm going to throw on some Ardell lashes. And then we will come back and pick out one of these lips. I went on and threw in my lower waterline, my cream gel liner from ColourPop in Peach Fuzz. Just a really pretty light, kind of a peachy shade, just to kind of help brighten up that area. And to blend my natural lashes in with the Ardell lashes, I use this one from Shop Missy, the AOA Studio. This is the volumizing lash mascara, so I just kind of use that to blend the two lashes together. Let's go ahead and pick one of these lips. This one is definitely more berry toned. I don't think I want to go with anything that super deep. I like that one. This shade is in Cured. I guess like Curing Pottery or something like that. Very clever. This shade is in Paint Me. It's a little bit lighter than this one. Very similar to each other though. This one looks like it has more of a burnt orange kind of a tone to it. And then this shade is Bust. This is the more kind of a neutrally shade. I think I'm going to go with Cured. I'm going to line my lips using my Persona lip liner real quick. Actually, this is the cream gel liner. We don't want to line our lips with that. My Persona liner in 90210. Alright, so let's give this a try. This is my first time using a Blotted matte lipstick. Ooh, it actually smells pretty good. I've used the Lippy Sticks and then like the Blotted matte liquid lipsticks, but the Blotted matte lipstick, this is the first time. I like how it's going on. It's kind of blurring on the lips. In the tube, this looks like it's more like a burnt kind of terracotta, but on the lips, it's definitely looking pinkier. It's not looking quite as terracotta as it does in the tube. The little kind of burnt orange effect, I'm not really getting that on the lips. It feels very comfortable, and I like how blurring it is on the lips. It's very pretty. Alright, so for some final first impressions of the products that I used today from this collection, I'm really liking the Blotted lip. It's very blurring. It looks very smoothing, but it's very, very comfortable. It feels more like a satin matte more than like a full-on matte. I do wish that we were seeing that more burnt orange tone that it looks like you're seeing in the tube on the lips, but it does look pretty. As far as the palette, same thing. I love the way that it performed. The mattes blended like butter. The shimmers are super creamy. I did like the way the mattes blended over the cream shadow, so this did work really well as like an eyeshadow base. But I'm sure if you want to, you can use it on its own like a one and done shadow if you're wanting to do it that way. My only disappointment is that the tones are way more berry and pink than I thought. It's a beautiful palette. I have no issue with the performance and the color story in general, but personally I was expecting more of, you know, a clay kind of theming where the shades were concerned. I was expecting something much warmer, more terracotta, more coppery looking. Like these shades right here, especially this one, was way more berry toned than what I was expecting. Performance wise, the palette is beautiful. From what I saw of reviews of this palette and then the Patrick Top palette, the shades and the tones are similar to each other. Just wish it was a little more coppery, terracotta in color story, but the palette is beautiful. So that is going to be it for this collection. Like I said, the swatches for the palette as well as the swatches for the Blotted lips will be on my TikTok and also on my Instagram Reels. If you enjoy the video, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're new to the channel and you are not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe. And make sure you tap the notification bell so you get notified of any videos coming up in the future. You can also follow me on my other socials. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.